Hey, Smiley. I'm talking to you. You pretty boy. Yeah. That's my little monkey man. Uh, hi. I need to make a video to introduce myself a little bit. Um, this is really uncomfortable for me, but I'm trying to become more authentic and, talking about who I am and my past and my present is part of, my past is part of what shaped me into who I am today. So it's part of it. And yeah, so I am Jamie Marie, and my name I recently changed. I changed it. I haven't legally changed it because I'm not sure on the spelling yet, and I'm not sure if I'm actually going to do it because. But my first name is Jamie, and my middle name happens to be Marie, and that's actually a legit name if you put them together. It's just spelt differently than how I spell it, and it's kind of like Dawn Marie or Anne Marie. It's just Jamie Marie. So, um, yeah, the reason I wanted to change it was because I I have this I don't like being called James and Jamers, and it's all these, like, I don't know. It seems there are a few people who used to call me that, and one specifically would be my mother, who I believe is a covert narcissist, and she's just she just calls me the James Jamers, and it just annoys me, and anytime someone else calls me, you can't call me that if you call me Jamie Marie. So and it's kind of pretty. I like it. It's very pretty. So I kind of like it, but the only thing that's holding me back from changing it is I had asked my I call it my guardian angel, but I have something that will talk to me sometimes as I'm drifting off to sleep or as I'm waking up, or will wake me up entirely, and it will be like 1 to 3 words, and it doesn't identify itself. It doesn't sound male or female. It just sounds like it could be either or. And it has felt very motherly, very caring. Um, and there was once where it was actually, my life was saved because this voice told me just to close a window instead of putting my earplugs in, because I used to sleep with earplugs, and because I work third shift. So I was living in this little apartment. I had just moved out of a poly household, and the it didn't work out, and it was bad, and I wanted out of the building entirely, but because of the situation, I could not. So I had to move down the hall, and I moved into this little studio apartment, and I hated it. I absolutely hated this apartment. And it just, I wanted out of the lease. I didn't want to be there. I had two cats in this little studio apartment, and it was not working out. And I couldn't get out of the lease. And there were a few other people in the building who did not want to be there either. Well, I laid down, before I laid down actually, I was very tired. I remember being extremely tired, and to the point where I was actually I felt almost kind of drunk. That's how tired I was. I don't know if I had a rough day or night at work or something, but I was going to lay down and take my afternoon nap, which I always do. And I always put my earplugs in so nothing would wake me up except for my alarm clock. And I heard this voice specifically tell me, close the window. And I just, because there were these kids outside, they were playing, there were these children outside, and I don't have kids, and it's just distracting. So I was gonna put my earplugs in, and I hear this voice, close the window. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, I'm not even in the mood to argue. I don't even want to analyze this right now. I don't even want to like acknowledge that I heard this, but I'm gonna listen because I want to get some sleep. That's basically what happened. So I closed the window and I laid down. I think it was 45 minutes to an hour and a half later, the fire alarm started going off, and the whole hallway was filling with smoke. And I barely made it out. I barely made it out. There was halfway down the steps because I was upstairs. In the process, I had to get dressed first off. Then I had to put one of my cats in a cat carrier because I didn't have two cat carriers at that time. I do now. So I stuck Molly, who is not as strong, to get away from me, under my arm, and I stuck Cody. He's here. Molly passed on in February, and I grabbed my notebook, which was stupid, but I did. I grabbed it because I thought I could do all of that. And I stuck it around my neck in its bag, and by the time I opened the door again, there was black smoke just rolling down the hallway. It was halfway down to the floor, and I still had to get out. I know. So I went for it. I thought, I can do this. Whatever. I can hold my breath all the way down the steps. It's no big deal. It burned my eyes. It burned my nose. I couldn't get down low because I had my computer and my cats, and I wasn't going to let them go. And he was kicking around in the cage, and I was struggling to hold on to him, so I was using more oxygen to hold on to her and to him. And I had this computer around my neck, and I had to take a breath. And I was like, I'll just take a little one. I have to take a breath. I almost dropped, and I pushed it back out of my lungs, and I thought, this is it, I'm gonna go down, because I stood in the middle of the stairway going down, and I thought, this is it, I'm done, I'm dead. And all of a sudden the adrenaline hit me, and I didn't need any oxygen. And then I remember going down the steps the rest of the way. I was very shaky, but I made it, and I hit the door. Luckily, the landlord, the maintenance man, he propped every exit with a brick. He propped it open with a brick, so all I had to do was hit the door and I was out. So that was awesome. Because I didn't know how I was gonna open the door. And I didn't even think about it. And so I got out. But that was one experience with with this voice who, comes to me sometimes. And the reason I'm not so sure about changing my name is because I had asked my, I'm not sure if I want to call it my guardian angel or if I want to call it my guide, but, or one of my guides, I don't know. So I asked, what, because I like Jamie Murray. It's very pretty, but it's very long and it's very my name, it is my name. So I asked, what name should I take? What name should I use? Do you have any suggestions? What do you think? Can you tell me? Can you give me a name that you like, And they woke me up with just saying one word, which was Jamie. And I woke, my eyes just, like, I'm like, I heard it clear as a bell in my room, in my head, just, like, it's hard to explain. I heard it. I really, yeah, I definitely heard it. And woke me straight up. So I was just like, really, is what I said basically when I realized exactly what answer I was receiving to, that they were answering my question. And so I'm hesitant to actually go forth and change my name completely because I was born and given this name for a reason. So I'm kind of hanging around on that right now. But what else can I tell you? I don't know how long of a video this is. I'm not sure exactly how long of a video I can tape. So I might want to hurry up with this. There's so much to talk about, to try to like be authentic. I just left the BDSM community. I was involved in that for 7 years. Not heavily, at the beginning I was very heavily involved with it. Events, meetings, activities, just, like everything. I was really big into the scene, and I had a lot of friends, and I don't anymore. I don't have a lot of friends anymore. I pushed everyone away because I just wasn't feeling it anymore. I don't want to be owned. I don't want to be used, and I don't want to be used like that, and I don't want to watch others be abused, regardless if they are consenting or not. I don't want to watch it, and I don't want to be desensitized sexually anymore. I liked sex before I was desensitized to a lot of it, because there's a lot of that, because you experience more, you see more, you you know um um it's very desensitizing. It doesn't allow for it's always pushing the envelope. It's always, well, what can I try now? What can I do now? This and that, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I wanna, do. And it's great when you're new to do, but then as you're there for a while, it's just kind of, yeah, I don't know, I've done that already. Now what? Nothing, that doesn't excite me anymore. Or, and then these guys that hide in the scene are like evil, narcissistic assholes. I mean, this is the perfect place for them to hide because they can indulge in all these dark things as long as someone says that they want to, and they don't have to apologize for any of it. And they don't, they don't have to, a lot of them, they have no idea what aftercare is about. They don't have any idea. They just, they're there to take and take and take and take, and they that's fine. that this might be a good place for them, but I noticed I do not. I want to be close to any narcissistic men because they they turn me off now, but they used to turn me on, and now they just kind of make my stomach hurt and excuse me, I get very angry and agitated and very like my guard is up. I'm scared around them. I don't want anything to do with them, and I try very hard to avoid anything that So when someone's trying to control me, and any hint of that at all, I pull back, and I want things defined, and I want to make sure that communication is clear, or I pull back entirely and I think about it and decide whether or not if this person actually meant that, or if I'm taking it the wrong way, things of that nature. Because I didn't have, God, I didn't have a lot of freedom to do anything, and I thought that's what I wanted. I thought I wanted to, I thought this made me happy, and it did at first, and then I just wasn't having fun. And then there was this one man who was actually diagnosed narcissistic personality disorder, who I asked specifically because I was seeing him and he was involved, in the scene. He was new and whatnot, and we were hanging out at the beach, and I was making a sandcastle, and I'm like a big kid. It's just what I do. So anyway, I was making a sandcastle or something, like a turtle or whatever, and I was burying his feet and this and that. And there's my reminder. He all of a sudden he said something. I don't remember what it was, but it was very jarring to my psyche and just very attention getting and alarming, and it made me feel bad. Just what he said, and it reminded me of a few other people I've encountered that are narcissistic, and I didn't know what a narcissist was. I didn't know what it was at that point in time. I just knew it was somebody who likes to upset other people. That's what I knew it as. And I looked at him, and I just looked at him, and I just looked at his eyes, and that word came to my mind, and I just asked him, I said, have you ever been told that you... And I just stopped, and I'm like, have you ever been told that have you ever been diagnosed narcissistic personality disorder? And I just let it come out. And his jaw just kind of dropped a little bit, and he just looked at me, and he was completely shocked. And he said, yes, actually, it's a variation of that. It's something narcissistic, something personality disorder. And I was just, what? And I'm like, you're kidding. And he's like, no, that's actually true. He says yes, and I'm in counseling for it. And I was just like, wait a minute. So I was like, you got to tell me about this. And so he told me a little bit, and he stopped, and I was like, well, I guess that's all right. And he says, not really. And I'm like, why? And he didn't answer me right away, but eventually he did, and he said, because now you can hurt me. And I just looked at him, and I'm like, you're kidding me. And he's like, no, now you can hurt me because you know. I felt very, very, like, I felt, oh my God, like, I would not hurt you. Like, but that's where he's coming from, and he was super honest, which was really weird for someone who was diagnosed narcissistic personality disorder. And I grew up in a household where my mother, I believe, she is a covert narcissist. And to my knowledge, that's what she is to me. To anybody else, she's this wonderful person who, you know, does so much for everybody. And there's a few select people who she's encountered who've gotten a little too close to her, who have other stories kind of like mine to tell. So I'm not the only one that's have had, experiences, like this with her, but I'm part of a group now. I've been part of a group for a while now online. I don't know exactly how long because time seems, I don't know the word for it. It just doesn't seem to matter at all sometimes. It just goes by and it's the same moment, if you know what I mean. But anyway, it like if it all feels the same kind of. So the time is just kind of irrelevant. But so I don't have a real big concept of time always. Sometimes I do, but when I'm in the middle of emotions and dealing with stuff, I time can go by and the whole day can go by and I can just not even realize it. So, um yeah, so I'm involved in this group for women and men. Involved in a couple of groups on Facebook where they help other people deal with leaving their spouse or their boyfriend or their girlfriend or leaving their parents, having no contact, things like that, and or having limited contact. Like for a while, I had limited contact. Right now, I told them that I'm on a 6 month break. I don't know, not even that. I just told them I'm going to be really busy for the next 6 months, and my enabling father, who I believe is enabling to my knowledge, I gotta say all this shit so nobody sues me because that's how it is. Um, he, uh, he has no idea. Like, he's so far gone in it. I mean, he used to know he was unhappy. He used to know this. He used to know he was unhappy and he wanted to leave, and he doesn't anymore. He just doesn't know that. He thinks he's just engulfed in all of it, all the lies and everything. He's just so I don't know. Whatever. It isn't my life, and all I can do is love him from afar because I can't get close to him unless I let my mother close to me. And so I have very limited contact with my father. I wished him a happy Father's Day. Oh, you're so pretty. You're pretty. And yeah, just I don't I don't have a lot of contact with them at all. It's been months. I didn't say anything to her on Mother's Day or before that, and they both know that I'm very busy right now, and she tried with guilt trips and whatever, and then she dropped a bomb that somebody in the family died, and through text message and just silly. My sister doesn't talk to me anymore. That, oh God, that hurts because I know I'm an asshole sometimes, but I have a feeling it has to do with, you know, my mother. I really do. Because my sister has no problem telling me I'm an asshole. I mean, really. No problem at all. So I don't know. My brother, he's the golden child. My sister follows close behind, but she isn't. She's a good girl. She's just a little spoiled, that's all. And my brother he worships my mother. He's the golden child as far as I in my opinion, you know. In my opinion, he's the golden child. So that would make me the scapegoat and my sister, God, she's just striving. She's still trying for approval and love and to be better than my brother, which will never happen. But It's all about, you know, how you perceive things. I mean, nobody has to be better than anyone. You know, you are better than you were yesterday. You're better than your old self, you know, type of thing. But uh, so this is who I am. I'm trying to recover from recycling all the pain over and over again from, you know, because these types of family dynamics cause a lot of problems for people. And a lot of times, the scapegoat doesn't make it out alive. It's not that they're killed. It's just that they're, you know, sometimes I'm sure they are, but they're they've had enough. They commit suicide. They don't understand what's wrong with them. And that was a lot of my 20s. And I'm really glad I didn't, because as hard as it is in my 30s, it's still worth it to be here. And even though I'm all alone, I still have myself. I still have my little kitty cats, and or my kitty cat rather, and my two birds, and you know, I do have some people in my life that care about me. And I mean, I don't have anybody to help me hang this fucking TV. I've got this TV I want to hang up, and I want to hang it up over here in the corner. I haven't hung it up yet, but whatever. Fucking TV. I don't watch TV anyway, so it ain't a big deal. But this week has been really rough for me because I asked for some help with my issues, my problems, my these milestones that a lot of us have a problem overcoming. And I didn't I didn't I reached out to this person, and I didn't receive anything back except for, you know, that sounds good, let's talk. You know, nothing came of it. And it makes me feel very insignificant, and it's a little bit of a roadblock, but I know that there's other ways to work. This isn't, I don't need to put all my eggs in one basket, and I can find another way to resolve this and figure out how. Oh, God. I need a Kleenex. And to figure out how to be authentic, right? Yeah, there was my lipstick. And my makeup. But whatever. There's other ways for me to figure out how to work through this and get through this, and I didn't need to be a complete crybaby. It's very hard. It's very hard coming from a place where I'm alone, and I'm very aware of how alone I am, and there's nobody here. So it's really very, if you've ever been this alone and asked for help, which I have in the past, and it's just another trigger for me. So it's really hard. But I have my friends on in the group and stuff and on Facebook, which sounds like, oh my god. I feel like quite a bit of a loser, but what are you gonna do? It's the truth, it's what it is. And they're very supportive. I love them. I love each and every one of you. So thank you, for being there for me. I really appreciate it. And I have to stop this video now because I'm just blubbering. So I love you. Bye.